Okay, news and notes on hockey for September 17th, and we're sitting 2.5 weeks out from the start of the season, which isn't too bad. Um, Alexander Barkov, or Sasha Barkov, as some of us call him, has been named the captain of the Panthers, and he's their 10th captain, and he'll do fantastic. He's definitely the driving force on the ice, and I mean that literally. He is absolutely amazing out there. And as captain, it's not a surprise to anybody who's watched the Panthers over the last couple of seasons, and I think he'll do fantastic. There were new rules implemented for chest and arm pads for goaltenders. Um, Kay Whitmore is in charge of making sure they're implemented properly. So basically, before the pads are sent out, Whitmore looks at them to see whether or not they fit the new guidelines. The idea with the guidelines is simple. When a goalie goes down in the butterfly with their equipment, they're able to kind of have it that the pad makes the save rather than they make the save. And they're trying to make sure that the pads are more form-fitting and that there isn't that extra space that's made up of padding rather than goaltending. And this is something they've been doing over the last few years. They went to the goaltenders. They said, would you rather that we adjusted the size of the nets, or would you rather that we shrunk down the equipment? And the goalies unanimously said the equipment. So we're in that stage right now where the NHL's admitting they're trying to increase scoring, but the way that Kay Whitmore put it, that I thought was a good way of putting it, I believe it was Whitmore's quote in this, is they want to make it fair. So basically, if you're the shooter and you take the shot and the goalie makes the save, it's the goalie that made the save, not the equipment. So it's basically that's where they want to get with this, is that it's once again shooter versus goalie. Now goalie's being really athletic. The thought process is by making the pad smaller, thus lighter, you'll make it easier for the more acrobatic goaltenders like a Marc-Andre Fleury to make a save. But we'll see. Fleury's counter to that is he's 6'2", 180. Being 180 means he's skinnier than some of the other goalies in the league, and it may make it so that he's not able to cover as much of the net. He's not admitting that he does that, but, Anyways, we'll see how it turns out this year. Again, it's these small little changes that they make. They basically say, look at a picture of a 1980s goaltender versus a 2010s goaltender. I would counter and say, yes, the padding's a lot bigger. The goaltenders are also on average about 4 to 6 inches taller. San Jose Sharks, they interviewed Doug Wilson. Doug Wilson says he's very confident about getting Karlsson re-signed. He will give him an 8-year contract. And he pointed to Thornton, Burns, Jones, and Evander Kane as guys who came in through trades, and they were able to sign them all to long-term extensions. So he has no problem. He says, with our track record in this city, we're good, and we will get Karlsson signed. And of course, once he signs that extension with San Jose, one of the conditional draft picks kicks in. So that makes the trade a little bit better for Ottawa, at any rate. But if he signs 8 years in San Jose, that's fantastic for the Sharks. The New York Islanders last night, Kiefer Bellows had a goal and an assist, so that's noteworthy versus Philly. Bellows is one of those guys, if he can come in as a rookie this year and play, if he can get a spot on the roster, he could prove us all wrong about the Islanders. Good forward, and if he can make it, if Josh Hosang can take advantage of having a clean slate, we may see a young, exciting Islanders team out there this year. Also last night, 2 defensemen, Erik Brandstrom and Nicholas Hague, both had a goal and an assist for the Vegas Golden Knights versus Arizona. If you're a Vegas fan, you've got to be a little bit excited about the future. Hague's compliment came from Max Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty told him that he could see him being a Chris Pronger type down the road because of the way he was playing last night. Pacioretty himself also had a goal and an assist. So, victorious debut. It is preseason, so yes, these totals don't count, but it is scary to think of the kind of offense they could put together, because Cody Glass, that kid that I'm waiting to push for a job this year, 2 assists last night. So Cody Glass, very solid player, and I think he's going to end up pushing that narrative aside that was brought forward by their GM, where George McPhee said, we're not going to, teenagers don't belong in the NHL. I think Cody Glass does. Tonight's action, Nashville and Florida are playing a doubleheader. So if you want to watch 2 games, you can. This is the time of year where they have so many people in camp. that they can put 2 teams on the ice. And that's why you see the New Jersey Devils on the board twice. They're at home against the Rangers. This is the debut as a coach for David Quinn for the Rangers. Buffalo and Columbus. The Islanders are playing in Philadelphia again. They got a 17-save shutout last night. We'll come back to that. New Jersey, the split squad's in Montreal as well. Minnesota's in Winnipeg, and Edmonton's in Calgary, so you can get a preview of the Battle of Alberta. Keep in mind, you will see 2 goaltenders for each team in every game early on in the preseason. They try to cycle through as many players as they can to get a really good look at how they are on NHL ice against NHL level competition, mostly, because every team's doing it. So it's not going to be completely an NHL roster yet, but we're going to get there. We'll get to guys getting cut probably mid-end of this week. The Islanders last night, as I said, allowed 17 shots. Why that's important? Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz has come in and he said in an interview yesterday that the Islanders, towards the end of last season, there just wasn't a defense. And I went over that a lot in my reviews last year. So after every night's games, I get into the reviews, and I got into the shot totals. Because what I noticed was the team with the most shots didn't win very often. On some nights, they didn't win at all. It was really weird. But the Islanders seem to routinely allow 50 shots. And my statement at the time, and still is, if your team's going to allow 40 to 50 shots in a game, it doesn't really matter who your goaltenders are. You're not going to win very often. It means you're not pushing the puck up the ice enough, and your defense is Swiss cheese. Now, if Barry Trotz has come in and already instituted a Barry Trotz-style defense, which ask Nashville or Washington fans, the guy knows how to coach defense, the Islanders could end up being a lot more competitive this year than we're giving them credit for. 17 saves last night. Yeah, it's the preseason against the Flyers. They play the Flyers again tonight. They could get shelled and allow 40 shots. But I will be looking during the preseason to see if those shots against stay down. And if Barry Trotz can get them to play a trapping style and keep the scoring chances down, yeah, the Islanders could definitely be a surprise team in the East, which would be kind of fun. Because when the Metro is really competitive from 1 through 8, so let's just say Carolina fans are right. Carolina is going to be good this year. Some Carolina fans are saying some aren't. Let's just say Carolina is going to be good this year and they could push for a playoff spot. We could see all 8 teams in the Metro being in the running at the trade deadline. Because I think the Rangers have the potential to be better as well. So I think there's a lot of good storylines that we're going to see going forward. But the Islanders' defense and whether or not they can keep to around 20 shots a game, allow 20 to 25 shots at most per game, you will give yourself an excellent chance to win. Not only that, but it'll give a goaltender like Robin Lehner more confidence going forward if he's not facing so many shots. At the very least, at the start of the season, it takes a lot of that pressure off of him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.